If you focus on result, you will never change. If you focus on change, you will get the result. A very warm greeting to all. I, Nikita Gupta, your host, on behalf of Sems Welfare Foundation and the entire team, welcome you all for today's webinar. All the participants are cheerfully welcome to our program. We hope you all will enjoy this session. And now, taking you through to my organization, let you introduce that Sems Welfare Foundation is a not-for-profit entity established to work in the area of education, social welfare, women empowerment, skill development and entrepreneurship, livelihood generation and employability, health, research, culture, international cooperation, sport, environment protection or any other similar sector. It's a matter of great honor that we have among us Mr. Ruben Shah. I graciously welcome you, sir. We are honored to have you here as our guiding light for the topic the impact of HR practices in MSMEs. The increasing challenges faced by today's organization have led to a transformation in the role of HR. Today, HR is not only concerned with hiring, firing, and managing payroll, it is also related to maintaining a balance between the employer and employee, promoting positive work culture, training and development of employees, as well as engaging and motivating them. Good HR practices satisfy employees and encourage them to contribute to a company's success. Training knowledge and skills can increase a business's competitive advantage. Effective organizations focus on this positive effect of HR by helping employees train and learn, improve. And now I would like to tell something about Mr. Ruben Shah. He is an assistant professor, Faculty of Business Management and Commerce at Mansoor University, Mansoor near Idgah, Kanpur. 3+ year experience in corporate sector and 5+ years of teaching experiences. Attended and presented paper at International Conference ICAIR 2022 held at Sangam University, Bhilwara. Attended and presented research paper at International Conference held at Mohanlal Sukhadia University, Udaipur. Presented research paper Human Rights Violations by Companies in India on Ethics and Values in international seminar held at Delhi on 1st and 2nd November 2014. Now, let's have the pleasure of listening to the esteemed speaker. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Nikita. Thank you for inviting me, Sems Group, over here
Welcome,
to
sir.
provide my views on the impact of human resource management practices in MSMEs. So, firstly, let us try to understand what actually HR is. Beautifully presented about HR already by our host. Human resource management, it is the process of employing people, training them, compensating them, developing policies related to them, and developing strategies to retain them. As a field of HRM has undergone many changes over the years, you will find that over the last many years, it has been given more important role in today's organization. In the past, HRM meant processing payrolls, sending birthday gifts to employees, arranging company outings, and making sure forms were filled out correctly. But today, when you see a lot more has been achieved by human resource management inside the organization. In other words, more of an administrative role rather than a strategic role crucial to the success of the organization. It's necessary to point out here that at the very beginning that every manager has some role relating to human resource management. Just because we do not have the title HR manager doesn't mean we won't perform all or at least some of the HR tasks. Every manager inside the organization has a very crucial role to play. And human resource over here is trying to enlighten this role, and they are also indulging them inside the human resource department, whether we consider the departments of an organization such as marketing, you consider the department as finance, you consider the department as IT. Everybody has a different role to play inside them. And thereby, today, human resource management is not just playing the role of doing the entry and exit of the people inside an organization, Rather, what they are trying to do is they are trying to merge all other departments of the organization and connect them with the organization's top management. I personally believe that human resource management is considered as the heart of the organization. Just like a body has a heart and its task is to pump the blood throughout the body, similarly, human resource management too has an function of inside the organization to pump the information to different parts of the organization, such as marketing department. We consider the finance department, the IT department, the lower group of the people working inside the organization, the top management. Everybody needs information. Without information, you cannot proceed. Right? And I believe that human resource management does this part very successfully. Is it gives out the information to each and every department and try to bind them inside the organization. Without this, I guess every department has an individual role to play. But here, we as an HR look towards them that human resources makes them together and they prefer to achieve the organizational goals rather than the individual goals over here. So, if you ever consider a question that have you ever had to work with a human resource department at a job, what was the interaction like? What was the department's role in the specific organization? You will get to know that human resource just don't manage the files of the employees, but they have a large role to play inside the organization. We have to keep in mind that many functions of human resource management are also tasks of the other department managers to perform, which is what makes this information important. And despite the career path taken, most experts agree on major roles that HRM plays inside the organization. These are staffing. When we talk about the staffing, right, we consider that people have different tasks and roles to get done in the organization, and to get it done we need people with utmost important and sophisticated people inside, right? Everything cannot be done by machine, right? So staffing is a part which HR looks towards. It keeps on going since until and unless the organization cease to exist, right? Because of this, one of the major tasks in HRM is staffing. It involves entire hiring process from posting a job to negotiating salary package. Within the staffing function, there are major 4 steps that has to be taken on: development of staffing plan, development of policies to encourage multiculturalism at work, recruitment, and selection. If we talk about development of workplace, every organization has policies to ensure fairness and continuity within the organization. One of the jobs of HRM is to develop the verbiage surrounding these places. In development of policies, human resource management and executives are involved in the process. For example, if we talk about the human resource professional, they will likely recognize the need for the policy or a change of the policy, seek opinions on the policy, they write the policy, and then communicate the policy to the employees. It is to keynote that the HR department do not and cannot work alone. They need everybody to be taken off, right? And HR department is doing so nowadays. Earlier, every department were not connected to the HR, but today HR has connected to every department. It's a linkage between the top management and the all the parts of the rest of the parts of the organization. Discipline process policy, vacation time policy, dress code, ethics policy, internet usage policy, etc., etc. There are various kinds of policies that has to be made by the organization and circulated to the employees. HR makes sure that these roles and tasks are being fulfilled as per the policies inside the organization. Next function, if we look towards, that is very attracting and lucrative to the employees, are compensation and benefits administration. Human resource management professionals, they need to determine that the compensation that is given to the employees are fair and meets the industry standards, and it is very high enough to entice people to work for the organization. Compensation can include anything the employee receives for his or her, that is for his or her work that is done inside the organization. If we look towards, in addition, human resource professional, they need to make sure that the pay is comparable to what the other peoples of similar jobs are being paid. This also involves setting up of pay systems that take into consideration the number of years with the organization, number of years of experience, education, and similar aspects that has been considered. If we talk about some of the examples of employer compensation, they can include pay, health benefits, retirement plans, stock purchase plans, vacation time, sick leaves, bonuses, tuition reimbursement, grievances of the organization, etc. Next, moving on to the next function of human resource management is retention. Retention involves keeping and motivating employees to stay with the organization. Compensation is a major factor in employee retention, but there are other factors as well that needs to be considered when we are looking towards the retention. 90% of the employees leaves a company due to reasons where they have seen issues around the job they are performing, challenges with their managers, poor fit with the organization cultures. Despite this, 90% of the manager thinks that employees results leave as a result of pay, but they often try to change their compensation package to keep the people from moving and leaving when compensation isn't the reason they are leaving at all. Next function when we focus towards the human resource management is training and development. Once we have spent time to hire new employees, we want to make sure that they are not only trained to do the job but also continue to grow and develop new skills in their job. This results in higher productivity for the organization. Training is also a key component in the employees' motivation. Employees who feel that they are developing their skills, they tend to be very happier inside their organizations doing their job, which in turn results in increased employee retention also and productivity towards the organization. Job skills training, training on communication, team building activities, stress management training. These all trainings are given usually to the employees to keep them sincere, loyal, honest inside the organization. Another function of the HR deals with the law affecting employment. So human resource people must be aware of the laws that affect the workplace. An HRM professional might work with some of these laws that includes discrimination laws, healthcare requirements, compensation requirements such as minimum wage, workers' safety laws, labor laws, and this legal environment of human resource is always changing. So human resource management must always be aware of changes taking place and then communicate those changes to the entire management organizations. Rather than presenting a chapter focused on HRM laws, we should be always looking towards the employees perspective or people's perspectives inside the organization. This will make sure that all the rules and regulations and policies are being followed by the employees inside the organization. Next, if we talk about the workers protection, safety is a very major consideration that needs to be taken inside all the organization. Oftentimes new laws are created with the goal of the setting federal or some state standards by the government, keeping in point of view of the government to ensure the workers' safety. Unions contract, and these another requirements can also impact the workers at the workplace, right? And it can give up the safety of the workers. So it is up to the human resource manager so that he can be aware of the protection requirements and ensure workplace is a meeting for both federal and union standards. Workers protection issues can be seen such as chemical hazards when seen in the different scientific industries company when they are dealing with the chemical things, heating and ventilation requirement, use of no fragrance zone, protection of private employees inside the organization, whereby you need to consider all the information that has to be given inside. And of all these functions, we bind these things through communication. We cannot leave the communication aspects. So beside these major roles, a good communication skills and excellent management skills, they are the key to make the successful human resource management as well as the general management. Apart from this, there are certain external factors that also needs to be taken into consideration, such as the globalization, changes to employment law, healthcare cost, employment expectations, diversity of the workforce, changing demographics of the workplace, layoff, downsizing, technology used, increased use of social networking to distribute information to the employees. So basically, this is what is human resource management, right? And every organization needs an human resource management to be taken into consideration so that they can work well with their employees. Now, if we look towards the MSME, MSMEs are the backbone, or MSMEs are considered as the backbone of our economy. Without MSMEs, our economy will face major challenges of job and other things. On one hand, the rise of the skill-based economy increases the importance of human resource management. On the other hand, it ignored by MSMEs. With regard to the role and importance of HRM for MSMEs, various researches has been conducted, various studies has been conducted. So the best strategy that is to be understand the importance of HR in market in like India has been seen. HR is not core for these small firms, but as the size of firm increases, human resource management becomes important, and it needs to be taken into consideration that you need to change the level of dimension because it becomes necessary also. So MSMEs, let me get back to you with MSMEs, human resource management. So today, human resource management is seen as the leader of corporate hierarchy. Its function, its practice, its procedure plays a key role in the normal working of work culture. Human resource in any enterprise, be it small or medium, or it constitutes an important area of study. Careful human resource management in small and medium enterprises is required to create and nourish good opportunity in the production process. If it is managed effectively and efficiently, human resource can play a big role in realizing the objectives of business and looking for ways to mind their business. To figure out the human resource system in MSME, we need to conduct further studies, which is being ongoing by and being focused by the government also. So research methodology can be classified in different ways to use to conduct a study on this. There are HRM is considered with all the aspects of employment and management of professionals working inside the organization. Human resource management covers different activities such as strategic human resource management, human capital management, and corporate social. It has a root basis borrowed and basis of the science organization behavior, strategic management, human capital, and theories of industrial relations. The sole purpose here to understand the human resource management and MSMEs is that MSMEs, as I said, is considered as the backbone of the economy. And to grow and nourish this backbone of the economy so that our economy can flourish, nurture, and develop, we need to focus on the idea of bringing the human resource practices in MSMEs also. So, human resource practice or the management in contemporary is very parallel in the economics to a company's success when it is measured through numerous organizational measures such as profitability, productivity, rate of innovation, market share, environment performances. On the other hand, if we look, the small entrepreneurial and medium-sized companies, they have not given much emphasis in relation to the human resource in the past. The reason is clear, because why more and more study today want to discuss more the success of the MSMEs and the pursue advantages of the MSMEs, because it is a turbulent and unpredictable business environment. We have already seen that there was a lot of crisis being faced during the COVID period. Every organization, every business has to see this crisis. They faced it. They were very many of the organizations went bankrupt. So we need to understand how we can manage our people inside the economy. So paying attention to the function of the HRM is very important today. As the firm grows, there is a need to have a HR and HR functioning properly placed. Human resource department is seen solely responsible for executing all the HR functions. It is in the best interest of the employer as well as the employees on an equal basis. Human resource functions can be defined by various tasks or way all tasks and responsibilities regarding HRM that are organized within the organization and organizational frame, as we have seen. Its functions include all the roles, tasks, responsibility, right from the staffing process to the training, to the development, through the performance planning, appraisal, to remuneration and rewards, to final temptation of employment. The HR function is not the only circumstances or circumference around the manager in general and at the HR department, but also in line with the different management. Even the employees themselves want to be included in it. Various organizational context factors, if we look towards, they determine the need for some specific HRM practices causing HR function, such as the principal task of HRM management to play their role to create an impact. However, HR functions usually depend on some other factors, while changes in human resource practices has been seen. So there may be various functions such as HR policies, developing policies relating to personal management of the firm. If we look towards this, it tries to analyze the business operations and gain sustainable or sustained competitive advantage inside the organization. Employment, defining recruitment and selection procedure for the staffing needs. developing strategies for the training and development of employees, performance, developing performance appraisal, designing reward system for the employees, that is compensation. So these HR functions are performed throughout the different HRM practices inside the organization. So the question is, what's in hold for the HRM in MSMEs? What is its future prospects if we look towards it? Since our economy is trying to talk about make in India, skills India, we are trying to produce each and everything, the goods, the services over here in India. As our economy will flourish, we would be needing more and more management theories, and to be done it on a formal and professional basis. So until recent past, it was only the big firms that were looking forward to have an HR department. But nowadays, even the small and medium scale enterprises have understood the importance of HR and its functions. The need for organized HR practices is now realized by most MSMEs. Micro, small, and medium enterprises today, they are even ready to implement human resource management into their organizations. The only problem that they face relates to the shortage of funds and expertise required to implement the HR. If we go towards the lower segment of the society or the economy, whereby people are trying to do business from zero or from scratch and they are bringing it to a running level, you will see they have done it all without the awareness of how to manage it. They are just doing it. But if proper awareness is being given to them, then they can take this business to the next level or to the higher level. The solution that can take any of the two forms, either outsource the HR functions for a short period or manage from the available resources for implementing human resource management. But if the firm cannot outsource HRM, the MSMEs can do some of the things which I will put now. They can recognize the right talent for the organization, may not be the best, but which suits the need of the job and the organization. They can follow the employee engagement practices so that employee retention improves. They can they can do the re-employment of retired employees who are ready to join at a low salary. This can help them out with the cost cutting. They can develop a culture of accepting challenges and offering career growth inside the organization. They can even minimize the hierarchy so that the employees, they feel a part of the organization. They can design practices like flexible working hours and from the home to facilitate work life balance. Now if we look towards the broader picture, then you will see that various studies and researches that has been conducted inside the economy, they have shown that the strategic use of human resource management, it is one of the most important determinants of the organizational performance. The success of the MSMEs, the medium, small, and micro, small, and medium enterprises, they largely relies upon the enthusiasm, competency, resources, and commitment to the owner around whom the entire workforce revolves. Since the owners often find themselves involved in the manual work and taking responsibilities for the employment matters, including the determination of pay, employment issues, they are also taken lightly and managed in an informal manner. So the role of human resource then comes into play to enhance the firm's efficiency and effectiveness of what needs to be done inside the organization in a right or in a proper way. Human resource management, it has various key responsibilities. Any large or mid-sized business, they will have human resource management inside department. When there is the need for employing more staff, the human resources management will source suitable applicants. If the business needs to downsize, the HRM will also oversee the redundancy process for what the unwanted staff. The HRM also manages vacation time, illness problem, bereavement leaves, and other day-to-day staff problems that arise without the cause for the environment. So in the matter of a legal dispute with a member of the staff, the HR will take over the case. They will deal with all the aspects of the dispute and find in favor of one of the parties that is involved. Whether the staff are in breach of their employment contract, the HRM will intervene and handle a termination if necessary. They will ensure smooth running of the staff within the business. This allows management to focus on the running of business and not get distracted by internal roles involving employees. So in smaller business, The human resource management may be the responsibilities of the line manager. The work they may take the focus from the daily job. In time, a business may need to employ a human resource management officer or train an existing member of the staff to take on the role. So the job of human resource management basically involves all those practices which makes the organization to run in a much more better way by training or by the hiring the employees, by compensating them or preparing them for the advancements or including the technology that can enhance the business. So this is a key role which every organization needs to have. That is what today's generation, or if we look towards today's government, they are trying to enforce the human resource practices into medium, small and micro scale businesses. It is much cheaper to train existing staff than to source and train new members. So human resource management also keeps the business a pleasant place in which to work, making staff and management aware about the employment law and good behavior at the work. And it is very part of the every human resource management department's remit. They resolve dispute, they arise, remove staff, they may not add to the overall ethos and mediate between staff and management when problems do occur. So when we try to understand today's human resource management functions and practices and procedures, they are increasingly becoming important, and we need to consider the growth of the knowledge based economy and human resources in any enterprise. Human resources are employees or the people, those who are working inside the organization, whether they are whether the organization is small, whether the organization is medium, whether it constitute an important area whereby we need to consider and we need to study and we need to focus that we need to include these human resource practices inside the MSMEs also. Because if it is included in human MSMEs, then the MSMEs can work in a much better way. They can train their employee, they can formally run the organization, the communication channel will develop inside them. So the HRM is concerned with all the aspects of employment and management of people inside the organization. The human resource management, they covers different activities from strategic management of HR, from capital management of human resources, or corporate social responsibilities we talk about, knowledge management we talk about, organizational development we talk about, securing resources, that is human resource planning, recruitment and selection, talent management, management performance, learning and development, compensation management, employer relations, welfares, health and safety, provisions of the services of employees. Everything is seen and looked by the human resource management. So HRM practice, it has a very strong conceptual basis borrowed and based on the science of organization behavior and strategic management, and also the theories of industrial relations. So the purpose over here, what we are trying to understand is that HRM objectives, theories, characteristics, the components of human resource management system, or different things, or for managing the people, the views expressed are in relation to the key performers or are in the context where HRM has ethical dimensions that affect the human resource policy and practices. So among others, the authors and economists of our country, they are trying to regularly work on the involvement of this human resource management practices into MSMEs, whereby we can nourish and nurture our businesses, and it can contribute to the economy in major. So HRM or human resource management practices in contemporary economics is linked to the company's success measure and measured through the numerous organizational measures that I already told, such as profitability, productivity, rate of innovation, market shares, environment performances, etc. Its role, that is the role of HRM in large enterprises, is relatively known, especially when we are trying to talk about the competitiveness, the sustainability, or the sustainable development. And on the other hand, if we talk about the small entrepreneurs or the small micro-sized or medium-sized or small-sized enterprises or the companies, they have not been greatly studied in relation to the human resource management in the past, right? Although there is a lack of consideration about it inside different areas of India, several researches has been done over it, several studies has been done over it, and the importance of human resource management for the survival and success of MSMEs are being taken into account now. So reason why more and more today we are trying to argue and focus about the success of MSMEs is the perceived advantage of MSMEs in a turbulent and unpredictable business environment. So over here we are trying to talk that various management implications as firms should prioritize investment in uh, human resource management, practices of human resource management, and it will help the MSMEs to enhance the operational performance by using the operational strategies like just in time technique or the AMT or total quality management technique. So as the firm will grow, or definitely our MSME sector will grow in future with the new startups and innovations and skills and technologies that we are using, then it will be needed to consider the responsibilities of all the managers to perform the task of HR inside the organization. So HR function is the best interest of the firms now, and its function, this function can be defined by taking into consideration all those things which have been done into the large scale organizations, and this needs to be taken into consideration by the small organizations also. So until recent past, it was just only the big firms who were investing inside the human resource practices. But today, if you look towards today's time, even the small, medium, or micro scale industries, they are also trying to contact the human resource management, and they are taking their valuable expertise so that they can include these into their organizations as well. The need for organized HR practices is well realized by most MSMEs today, and they are even ready to implement human resource management into their organization. But just the problem, as I discussed before, the problem that they face relates to the shortage of fund and expertise. So if a firm cannot adopt this, they can take into consideration the about the outsourcing of the human resource management, whereby they do not have to invest much on the creation of human resource management, but rather they can take the expertise of the older employees, or if the government help out to create such centers, human resource centers in the economy, whereby they will provide their valuable services in return for a small amount of money to different organizations of that particular area. So this can be done. Next, if I talk about the importance of MSME to indulge into large scale sector with HR department, then you can see that human resource management, the impact of human resource management on organizational functions has a very large impact if you see. So today we see some common HR challenges which is being faced by micro, small and medium enterprises. So recent trends have been seen that whereby HRM functions, procedures, practices are considering the impact of knowledge-based economies, whether small or medium or micro scale organizations or companies or businesses. HR constitutes an important area to them. So the production of goods and services, they are guaranteed by efficient and careful human resource management. It creates a satisfactory level of living in the society. HR can also play an important role in realizing the objectives of the enterprise as an integral resource. So effective and efficient human resource management is the key to a successful organization. Whether we try to strategically plan the activities, we try to recruit the employees, track and manage the human resource trends, we try to do the coaching and counseling of employees, connecting employees with the organization, conflict management and resolutions of conflicts of the employees, evaluation of the performance of the employees, acting as a mentor for the employees. This can help out inside the MSMEs too. So strategic initiates that can boost employee retention also. So retention of employees is also a critical issue for companies, so to compete for the talent in a right economy. So you will largely see whether IIM, IITs and various other major universities and institutes of our country, or people studying in different parts of the country, they usually try to focus on the MSCs and various large scale enterprises. But today a very few or no students or people or employees are trying to move towards the MSMEs. MSMEs usually hire people those who have a very low educational criteria, but now today the scenario is changing. Even they are trying to bring in the people those who have high knowledge, high talent, so that they can contribute to the growth of the MSMEs on board. The small, medium, or micro enterprises sector today significantly strengthens our country's economy process, and also they are looking towards the international standing of the economy. So millions of jobs are being produced by this sector. The promotion of industrial development is being done in rural areas. The production of diverse variety of products with limited capital investments are also controlled and regulated and instrumented through the working of these sectors. Even the Ministry of MSMEs, they are looking towards the estimated that 40% of the manufacturing output is being given, 8% over the national GDP, and much more job opportunities both in rural and urban parts of the country are being contributed by the MSMEs. The Confederation of Indian Industries states that 20% of the medium and 80% of the small size businesses have no HR department till now. It is as shocking as without a proper HR functioning department, the implementation of various people related policies and processes is very difficult, as HR is a key to digitizing an organization through various procedural means. An organization should develop a visionary mindset so that the importance of HR, importance of strategies and process of managing human capital can be realized. So I guess I'll try to halt today my session. I guess that's all from my side.
Wow, thank you, sir. That was so informative. We extend our heartfelt thanks for sparing us your valuable time and sharing your experience with our webinar believers. It's look like we have a few questions. I would like to come up with the questions one by one. So the first question is, sir, is there any relationship between HR and employees?
Definitely, this is a question where if you look towards an organization worked by major three resources: financial resources, natural resources, and human resources, apart from the idea of development. When we look towards the employees, that are the human resources of an organization, they are considered as the most valuable asset of an organization. Without this particular asset, organization cannot run in the long future. So there is a very strong relationship between the HR and the employees, since they are all interconnected with each other. If employees are working on inside the organization, then definitely they do need an human resource management over there. And the HR and employees is actually a same word, that is human resources, or we call them employees, human resources, people working inside the organization. So HRM over here, or the HR manager over here, they are in direct connection with the employees, because if they are connected with the employees, they can further connect them or link them with the top management, so that they will get to know what is the performance or what are the outputs of the employees inside the organization. So I guess that answers my questions. Answer my question to the question.
Okay, thank you, sir. And the second question is, so can any company run without HR? If yes, sir, how?
That is what is happening today, that the whenever I was talking about the problem of MSMEs, that is medium, micro, small, medium scale enterprises, they are running without an HR today. But then that is what is the question today, that is what is the topic today that we are discussing, that without the human resource management, the companies can run, but it cannot efficiently and effectively manage the human resources over there. But if you want to run your organization without the human resource department, proper human resource department inside the organization, then what you can do is you can take the help of an expertise that is specialized in human resource practices, and you can take the help from them, and then they will give you the help in that matter, or you can outsource them.
Thank you, sir, for giving your response to these questions. I am sure our audiences learned a lot from you. A champion is defined not by their wins, but by how they can recover when they fall. I, Nikita Gupta, your host for the day, signing off on a cheerful note. Have a wonderful day. And lastly, I want to thank our viewers for connecting with us and making this a massive success. Again, thank you so much, sir. It will be great pleasure for us to listen to you again in our future events. Thank you and best of luck to everyone. And now I would like to wind up the webinar.
Thank you so much.